in this particularly ever-expanding world, expanding your vibrations so that it resonates with the cosmos, the lining up of the planets, which gives it energy. And in that energy comes change in a good way, looking in the right direction at the changes that are happening. And they, rather than thinking that they're changed, there's something new, it's you're remembering the gifts and the wisdom that you've brought with you into this earthly plane, so that it can be shared with everybody, shared with the universe, shared with your next door neighbour, shared with anybody who is in the vicinity of the energy. And there will be no denying the energy, because it is pulsating, it is powerful, and it's very poignant in this time of great change. As planets are lining up, stars are forming, stars are disappearing. Energy is expanding at an exponential rate, and it is being in tune with who you are, who you were, and who you're going to be, all one and the same at this particular moment in time. And the doors, the windows, the path of opportunity is unfolding, as it always has been, but more prevalent. And in your world, more important, so that it gives you clarity and understanding and guidance more so as you move into the seemingly unknown. It's only unknown on the third dimension, on this earthly plane. But be safe in the fact and the knowing that you're always guided, that you're in the best place at the best time. And to be happy. Pat yourself on the back for being happy. And in that non-thinking space is pure space, pure clarity of information that comes in. It's like a wave. It waves in, bringing you renewed and reinvigorated energy and information that is very conversational at this particular point in time as we move forward, as you move forward, as we all move forward in your time frame, in the next coming months. So this is the foundation of it all. It is more than the foundation, it is past the foundational stage. It is putting down those roots and good habits of moving forward.
What do you mean by good habits?
Good habits of tuning in and accepting that when there's contrast, it's a sign, it's a bit of a clue that you're a little bit out of sync. And we say a little bit out of sync because it's only a small variance, and there are expectations and expectancies as you move along. It's about being in tune with who you are.
What are the indicators, Whitehawk, of moving forward? How do we know we're moving towards our dreams?
It's not anything physical. It is having that innate understanding, that cosmic, universal understanding in your heart center, in your heart self, in the much guided self. It is that knowingness of the isness, knowing that what is the path. Short of, yes, you would like to know indicators, signs, physical signs, visual signs, mental signs, as opposed to emotional signs. Now, emotional signs are always there, so it's training yourself to recognize that you are in the perfect place at the perfect time because you are there at this particular time. So it's elevating your resonance, your vibration, to meet that space. And when there's downturn, upside down smiles, wondering, wishing, hoping and praying that things might be a little bit different, or a lot different, that you're in the right place at the right time. Because it's an evolutionary thing. It's not just this lifetime, it's evolutionary. And finding peace in amongst the chaotic thoughts of what ifs and how and when. And the how, of course, is left up to the universe. It's just remaining into that peaceful, sane state, because insanity will reign. Well, it'll feel like that anyway. Insanity won't happen, but it'll feel as if you're trying to pull here and there, trying to find information here, there, everywhere, and it's all within. It is taking a break from yourself, from that chaotic self, so that you can take a deep breath and know.
I think a lot of people feel that way now, that they're in the midst of chaos and trying to take a breath, but that doesn't give them an indicator that they're moving forward. So what are those indicators?
Indicators are the things inside, is a sense of peacefulness, a sense of
the peacefulness within the chaos.
Within the chaos. There is chaos around. Chaos is mainly in your thoughts. Yes, there is chaos outside, and you can buy into that if you wish, but it's not recommended. So the peace within the chaos. So it is, the chaos is going to always remain. The chaotic state, whether that's in your mind.
You mean it will remain forever? Chaos will remain forever?
Well, whatever is forever. But the chaos, there will be some sort of chaos, some sort of interlude that is disrupting the energy of the planet. But it's finding the peace and expanding the peace, like a giant balloon expanding the peace within the chaos. So the chaos is still there, but as far as impacting on your well-being, your mental, physical, emotional, attitudinal well-being, just your well-being, your earthly well-being, so therefore your cosmic well-being, when that's, you just find peace in that. So you're expanding that peacefulness, that harmony. It's more of a harmony as opposed to peacefulness. It is finding harmony in what you do, how you think, how you feel.
So in this year of 2019, we're a long time from that, 2025, will we find more peace if we're looking for it? Are we going to find more peace?
Yes.
How is it different to last year and the year before?
2025 is a 9-year. It's an ending and a beginning. It's a transitional state into a new evolution, a new path over the next 9 years.
That's planetary or people?
Planetary and people. It's happening now. You see it on a planetary basis, and there's unknown. There's all sort of conversations about, what will happen when the planets line up. It is an energetic shift. It is a people shift. And if people are resonating at the frequency of their higher self, they will be in tune with the fact that this is an ending of a cycle. And more importantly of that, it's the start of a new cycle. You're not at a 5-year, it's a 9-year. So you're on the precipice of a new beginning, a new evolution.
And what determines that beginning and how it steps into that new era?
Your vibration. It's an organic thing.
So it's an individual thing?
It's an individual thing, but because individuals are part of the one in the mass, more individuals will have that feeling of moving forward. And it'll be one of those conversations, and this is pertinent for this year, and people are having that conversation now about, thankfully, that the last year in your time has passed and a new beginning. But everybody is on a different wavelength as well, depending on when they were born, when they reached this planet. Of course, so it is generally a 9-year, but everybody has their own individual increments.
And how does that affect the 9-year? Does it affect it? Does it compound it? Does it?
It has an effect on it. The 9-year is the umbrella, and if you just took that 9-year in and of itself, it is the ending of one evolution to the start of another, in a good way, so that the 9 is finishing and it's starting again. So the main thing is that it's the evolutionary aspect of the year.
So the changes that the planet is going through, so this is a 9-year and we begin again as a 1-year. Who determines, or what determines, the beginning of something new?
Energy. Contrast determines that, would you believe? Contrast. That we no longer want this. We don't want war and famine and fire and fighting, uncertainty, and of course fear. That all envelopes in fear. We don't want that. And so there's a mass rising of thinking we don't want that anymore. More so than fear, than thinking, it's the feeling. How does your heart feel? How is it beating to the rhythm of that better feeling space of who you really are? And so that moves into that beautiful opening of a 1-year, of a new beginning, of a new sunrise. Think of it that way, a beautiful sunrise. The sun is setting on the previous year, on the 9-year.
So how do we take advantage of this 9-year in our cycle, finishing off? What is it that we need to finish off?
It is about, and how it's evolving at this moment. There's a lot of crises in the planet, on the planet, and people are involved in those directly and indirectly, just listening to the chaos that is going on. Yet there is a portion, and a good portion, of people where it's more important to elevate their energy, their resonance, their vibration, and to rise above it, and to find that space so that new sunrise is easily seen.
So the sunrise then will happen for the people who rise their vibration.
Yes. Come the end of this evolution, this year, there will be some who will say, well, it was no different to any other year. In that is the clue, that their vibration, they didn't buy into or sought after a better feeling place.
So what do we need to finish off for this year? Is it passions? Is it ways of thinking? What are the things that we need to finish? Is it the fight with our spouse or our parents? What is it that we need to finish off?
Yes, it is all of those. If you're asking that question, yes, it is all those sort of things. It is finding new ways. Everybody's bought into the familiar ways. Now, sometimes familiar is good, but no, most times when there's angst, anxiety, fear and uncertainty, pessimism, despair, they've bought into the familiar story that this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. So set up a new and improved edition of your thinking and feeling self, so that the familiar old, the things that people have brought to the table at this particular moment in time,
So you're talking about the things that no longer
no
serve
longer
us?
serve. If you're finding that you are angry, uncertain, frustrated, you know the feelings. You know what they are. They do not serve you now. They never really served you in the past. It was just a familiar story that was told over and over, and it's slotting back into that familiar gear, if you like to think of it that way. It's in second gear. It's not in overdrive. You're holding the Lamborghini back, and it's not serving you. So it's about embracing and feel guided, feeling the love of letting go and embracing and introducing yourself to that higher, that greater version of yourself, to that heartfelt self, so that you thrive. Every day is a smile, every day is a win. Whether you're doing and achieving a lot or a little, where the achievement is how you feel, how you vibrate, how you shine your light. And how many people's light have gone out? Well, not gone out, it's just embers at this moment. Diminished. And it's fanning those flames of enthusiasm, certainty, optimism, eagerness for more, fun.
It seems that in this day and age, especially in this year, that it's probably a good time to be looking for things that are working rather than things that aren't, and to be a lot more vigilant about that, because you're saying about breaking patterns, about finishing old patterns and old conflicts and even ones that we've been storing for a long time. So this year is about finishing that and looking for things that are working.
By finishing, you allow the things that will work and are working in more often. You've opened the floodgates.
How do we know what we have to finish? How will that appear in our lives?
It is being conscious that you have those things. It is being conscious that you have that familiar old story that is not serving you anymore. It's about moving forward. I am moving forward. You can even make that your mantra. I am
moving forward.
And moving forward. Now, as you can see with that, it's not moving forward to something, or it is just about moving forward. And that's essentially what that's about, is moving away from. That's part of it, but it's actually moving towards something. So acknowledging the old familiar things that don't serve you, and then reigniting that flame, fanning the flames of your ultimate vibration.
So those things that we need to look at will come up in the form of, say, agitation, disappointment,
yes,
anger, things like that, emotions that we would normally want to push away.
Yes, and it's acknowledging those. I am moving forward. You're just indicating to those feelings, straight up, a direct message from the universe to say, I'm no longer interested in what you think you may be contributing to my life. I am moving forward. And just with that opening, that's a heart-opening statement.
Isn't that pushing away, though? Isn't that pushing away a part of us?
It is acknowledging, as you move forward, it's the most important part of that equation. It's about moving forward and acknowledging that the chaos or the uncertainty, that those familiar pasts are still there. It's not about sweeping them under the carpet, which is all that's going to happen, but it's about diminishing their impact and power on you. So yes, it's easy to say, we're doing away with those, they are still there. Every now and again they'll raise their ugly head, and that will be a clue and a time to take stock of where you are. I am moving forward. That's a reminder.
So we talk to them, the emotion,
the emotions,
and say, I am moving forward, you're no longer in charge.
In charge, exactly.
So
yes.
rather than sweep it under the carpet or deny it or push it away, as is common, because that's the first thing you want to do, it's acknowledging that emotion and I am moving forward.
I am
I'm
moving forward. Here. I am in control. I am here and I'm in tune. I'm in direct vibrational alignment.
And you can feel the power of
with
that.
the greater good, yes.
Yep.
The power is key, and once you feel that power rising, then you know you're on the right track.
So is this year then about moving into our power? So come a 1 year in the new era, or the next 9 years, we can then step into that power and create big things.
Step into it.
Make a difference.
Make a difference in the world. More importantly, make a difference to yourself. And in doing that, you make a difference to the world around you. And it's doing it with chest out, head up, with a smile on your face, and know that everything is in divine order. And you know that it's not. When your head is down, you get an upside down smile, your shoulders are forward.
And of course there are going to be circumstances that come up that remind us, probably not in a good way, but remind us to say, hey, you know, which direction are you looking in? We get choices. Is this?
And that's exactly right. And to say that it'll never happen ever again, that you become angelic and bad things or bad thoughts or bad emotions won't come up, that's not going to happen. But it's acknowledging that space that you give yourself, and as you make that space, it allows you to move forward. And also in that moving forward, you are attracting, you are drawing towards you what is rightly yours, what is divinely yours.
Which is?
Which is what you've set in motion before you came to this plane and planet, which is the best version of yourself, so that you can contribute to the community and to the humanity, and to be able to be that best version of yourself. And it's incremental as well, and sometimes it happens in a blink, but be peaceful in the fact that it can be incremental. But as that increment is going, it's that step by step is going, it's through that acknowledgement that I am moving forward. And then more moving forward moments happen. Everything opens up.
Because for many people it feels like they're not moving anywhere. They're not moving backwards, forwards, they're just
treading water. And using up energy. Exactly. Yes, indeed. But in that, it is, if you have the treading water analogy, it is finding that peacefulness and the feel go beyond the energy expenditure, and feel the energy,
feel the water, accept
around
it, don't
you,
push it away.
And it is keeping you buoyant. As you relax, the more you fight against the impending familiar issues, the heavier you are. I am moving forward is bathed in light.
And so you float.
So you float. And so on the surface it looks like you're doing the same action, which you are, but you have a different thought form, you have a different purpose of feeling where you are and being guided and feeling the energy and rising with that energy and taking a breath. When you're in water and you take a breath, you float. And there's a lightness. Still the same body, but that lightness carries you to the surface.
So do you have any insights into what's going to unfold this year that could affect us, say in March, April, any global, national or global things that are going to happen?
There are many global things that are happening, and they will change. And this is the changes coming from the humans that no longer want the adversity. And more humans are moving into that space. War, famine and fire, fear and uncertainty. More people are moving away, or want that to be having an understanding of human evolution, that it will never go away, but it will diminish its power, as we've said before. And then from there, it is like the phoenix rising.
So we need to get to a peak before we can go into a gully?
Well, the peak is happening right at this particular peak of uncertainty, that familiar old story that doesn't deal you any good cards. It's getting to that peak, and then you're looking at a reset, and it's like a reset, and then it's moving onwards and upwards. A rebuild, if you think of people who have been devastated by fire or famine, or it's like a rebuild. Yes, there's uncertainty, but there becomes a point where it's about moving forward. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up into the old familiar story that doesn't serve you well. So it's peaking, and then it'll drop down, reset, and then it's into the next phase. So it's ending, like we said, a 9-year, and there's a transitionary period in that, and then it's moving into that. So the evidence of that will be amazing humanitarian stories of out of the fire, out of uncertainty. Where there was fear, now there's joy, happiness, and fulfillment. Fear is so restrictive, and it's like a huge weight on your chest. It is pounding. No, it's not pounding. It is pressing, and it's actually impeding that heartfelt energy, which is ever expanding. So in that is the major feel. It's about feeling that, knowing that there is an ending, a phasing out of all those old familiar things that don't serve you well, and an introduction to the new familiar. You want to be familiar with love and blissfulness, joy and happiness, optimism.
So that's our practice this year, is
upliftment.
Is coming together with the things that don't work, that aren't working for us, the old patterns, and bringing in the new, and blending so that the one will outshine the other.
Yes. And if you're moving forward, I am moving forward, that is the light you're shining, creating that space to allow opportunities, tools, so to speak, to deal with uncertainties if and when they come in. But more importantly, it's about feeling lighter and having clarity. When you feel lighter, the clouds part, and they shine that light so that you are empowered by the strength of that heart energy, empowered by the ultimate brightness of the light that you shine, the effervescence as that light is pulsating and ever expanding. And as you move into that realm of certainty and that feeling, and there's work to be done. You can't sit back and go to that the default couch, and say things will change. But if you're not changing, if you're not in control, and it's about ease and flow, if it's easy to do, then you're meant to do it. No work, no sweat needs to be exerted.
So this is the path of least resistance?
The path of least resistance, going with the flow, going downstream. Allow the current of energy take you, and you're guided along that path. And as you're going down there and you see, you have a feeling, you see something, a position in the river where you need to go, then you make that advance towards that bank, so to speak.
So they're the opportunities?
They're the opportunities. And yes, it may take a little bit of effort, but you're not fighting against the stream, you're going downstream and you're going with it. And that's the important thing. It is finding peace and harmony in the least effort that you use. Pat yourself on the back when things unfold easily and effortlessly. As opposed to a lot of people, they pat themselves on the back because there's blood, sweat and tears.
In the struggle.
And they've struggled. Oh, we've made it. Oh, yes. But spiritually and energetically, that has an impact on your soul. Where if it's done with ease and flow and gracefulness, clarity then becomes your default setting.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to know more about the wisdom of Whitehawk, you can go to www.wisdomofwhitehawk.com. Thanks for joining us.